Okay, I hate that I'm making this video because I'm fairly certain it's not going to go well for me in the comments, but I just want to make it clear at the top here that I am asking a question in this video, and it's a question that I genuinely do not have the answer to. It's not a rhetorical question that I'm trying to pose as some sort of gotcha. It's genuinely a question that's been on my mind that I do not know the answer to, and I'm hoping someone out there does know the answer to this question, and you can let me know. So a friend of mine shared this tweet from a writer named Stephanie Tate, and she said this: "A system where leaders no longer have a responsibility to earn the votes of the electorate is no longer a democracy. You have to give it to us because the alternative imperils your life and safety isn't a free election, it's a mugging at gunpoint." I feel like this tweet encapsulates a lot of what I'm seeing from voters on the left when it comes to their feelings about the election in November. Basically, in a nutshell, the idea boils down to, I'm not just going to give the Democrats my vote to prevent the Republicans from gaining more power. The Democrats have to earn my vote, and they have not done that. And then the other part of this idea that you can really see in that tweet is that people keep expressing that they feel like they're being threatened to make a certain decision. And that doesn't feel like a free and fair election to them. That doesn't feel like true democracy to them. Now, these ideas and attitudes in a vacuum seem really reasonable and understandable. Here's what I keep bumping up against. I don't think that people are just trying to threaten you or scare you when they tell you about the dangers of a second Trump presidency and things like Project 2025. If you've actually spent any amount of time looking into Project 2025, and if you haven't, you really should, but if you have, then you know that it is as scary as people are telling you that it is. It is as bad as they're saying that it is, and worse. I really don't think that the dangers of a second Trump presidency can be overstated. Project 2025 is cartoonishly bad. It's like comic book villain cartoon levels of bad. It's Lex Luthor shit. They are genuinely, and this is not an over-exaggeration, just trying to make America a Christian North Korea. And that's just actually what they are openly, full-chestedly trying to do. What this situation feels like to me is people saying, I don't want to buy sunscreen because I have very valid ethical and moral quandaries with the people who make and sell sunscreen. They're in cahoots with the pharmaceutical industry. The pharmaceutical industry created the opioid addiction epidemic. So therefore, if you give money to big sunscreen, then you are tacitly supporting the people who created the opioid epidemic. And on the surface, it's like, yeah, cool, all right, that's a totally valid moral and ethical stance to take. The problem is, the sun does give people cancer. Skin cancer is real, and the sun will give you skin cancer if you are out in it for too long without sunscreen on. And I'm not saying that to threaten you into using sunscreen against your will. You're free to use or not use sunscreen. It's none of my business. All I'm saying is that if you choose not to use sunscreen, you might have to deal with skin cancer, and that's just something that is factually accurate. This is kind of a messy analogy, I get that, but I hope you can see where I'm going with this, because this is what leads me to the big question of this video, the question that I wanted to ask, the question that I genuinely do not have the answer to, and that I'm hoping someone out there can answer for me. If you are refusing to purchase sunscreen because you feel like the sunscreen companies have not done enough to earn your business, what is the plan for skin cancer? How are we going to address that? Dropping the analogy here, cool. We do not want to vote for the Democrats. They haven't done enough to earn our vote. We have major moral and ethical problems with them that need to be addressed. I completely get and understand all of that. What I don't know is, what's the strategy? What's the plan? What are we going to do when Donald Trump gets his second term? What are we going to do about Project 2025? Because choices have consequences, right? If you go out in the sun and you choose not to wear sunscreen, then you might get skin cancer. If you choose to climb into the tiger enclosure at the local zoo, then you might get mauled by a tiger. And if you choose not to give the Democrats your vote, then the Republicans will likely gain more power. I see a lot of people on the internet expressing valid frustration about the American political system, talking about how maddening and disappointing and exhausting it can be to constantly have to choose between two options that feel woefully inadequate and undesirable, expressing how they don't want to have to pick one or the other because they feel like they are under duress, because they feel like they are being threatened, that if they don't pick this one, the other one is going to be really, really bad for them. And I really do get that sentiment. It is emotionally resonant. But I have to ask the question, what happens next? What's the plan? What's the strategy? Is there a plan? If, come November, the Republicans are able to gain critical seats in the Senate and the House, and Donald Trump is able to win a second presidential term, what is our plan for dealing with that? Like, I guess you can do a little victory dance and sort of like taunt the Democrats and say, ha ha, you didn't get us this time, and you're going to have to work really hard if you want our vote the next time. And that's something, but you're still in the tiger pit. You're still dealing with the tigers that are right in front of you now. So what are you going to do about the tigers? What are we going to do about the tigers, everybody? It's not a threat. It's just what happens when you get into a tiger pit. You're not supposed to be in there, and you're going in there to like make a point to someone else. And if somebody knows the plan, would you please let me know? That's okay. All right.